Hello, this is Katie. Welcome to another one of my YouTube tutorials. So this one is for a triple macrame bracelet. So triple macrame is just what it says. It's the triple version of a square knot macrame, which is this one here. So this is a triple. This is actually a triple, and this is a basic square knot. So I'm going to show you this one today, but you'll easily be able to achieve this one because it's just not adding as many beads. And also I will be showing you how to make the square knot, but that will be the square knot slider, and that will be in a separate video which will be also available on my channel. So it will be called sliding square knots, or you might be able to search it by Solomon's bar as well, but it will be on my channel. So these are absolutely gorgeous to wear. You don't have to add the metal beads as I've done. You can make them totally hypoallergenic because you don't have to contain any metals at all. So let's look at what we're going to need. Just a little note, if you just check out the end of the video, everything that I've used in this tutorial is something that I got from something called a Relax and Craft box. So I'll just go over kind of what you get monthly in one of those boxes. So do check out that little bit at the end of the video. So I've got some silver obsidian beads. So these are gemstone beads, and I've got 9 of them, and those are all 6mm size each. I'll be using some braided cord. So this is a braided cord. It's absolutely beautiful to use in this gorgeous silver colour. And the gauge of this is a 0.8mm gauge. So, and that is a thread gauge. So the length of the lazy strand, this one here that's got the beads on, that is 40 centimeters, which is around about 16 inches. And then I've got 3 lengths, that's our triple. So 3 lengths of 140 centimeters, which is around about 55 inches. So you just need to get all that prepared, get your beads pre-threaded onto your lazy strand. That's the 40 centimeter strand. And then I'm going to flip this board over. You will need a macrame board. And then we're going to get started. I'm going to flip it over just because I find the grid on this can be a little bit dazzling on camera, so it's easier to see everything if we're working on a plain surface. But if you do have a macrame board and you want to use it on this side and measure things as such as you go, it's absolutely fine to use it on that side. I'm only flipping it over because it's a bit dazzling on camera. See you in a second. So first of all, we're going to set up our board. So I've got my beads pre-threaded. I'm going to go the shortest width way. This is a mini macrame board. You can go any way you want on your board. It's be absolutely fine. I'm going to find the kind of the middle part of the thread, and I'm going to pop that across. And then at each end, just with this longer thread that I've got, we do need that longer thread because that's how we're going to make the clasp. We're just going to pop it backwards and forwards through, just so it's secured really tight. I'm going to do that at this side too. Backwards and forwards. And there we go. Our beads and lazy strand is ready to go. Now we're going to take a look at our 3 longer strands. These are the 40 centimeters, 55 inch strands. And we're going to just take one of them to start with. So, and then we want to find the middle. So I've found both ends, found the middle of this side. I'm just going to pop that little middle part through underneath there and just pull one side through, and I know I'm more or less perfect center. I'm going to push that all the way up to the top, and we're going to start by doing a basic square knot. We're going to do 3 of these, one with each of our longer lengths. So I'm just going to zoom in a little. So we are going to make a D shape. So I have done a basic square knot tutorial. If you wanted to check that out first, it's fine, or you can just watch this. I'm just going to do it quite slowly the first couple of times, and then I'm going to move on a little bit faster, but you can rewind and watch again. So I've made a D shape with this strand. So this strand from this side, we're going to kind of treat them as two separate strands now. So I've got a D shape, and that's coming over the top of my lazy strand. So my lazy strand is the one that goes down the center. I'm going to take that over to one side. Now I'm going to pick up the opposite strand, and I need that to come over the top of the one that I just laid across. Now I'm going to take the end of this strand and it's going to go underneath that cross there. So if I just grab some pliers just so you can see, the end of this strand, this end, is going to go underneath both of these. So not just under one, underneath both of those. So it's going under that cross. So we're going underneath the cross and then we're going to go inside this loop that we created and we're just going to pull that up and then we're going to pull together, and that is half a square knot. So we're going to go to the opposite side. We're going to get the opposite strand to come over the top. That's one of the most important things. Most people go wrong on that bit, is bringing this strand over the top of the one you just took across, and then again under that cross and up through the loop. Pull nice and tight. So we've got our first square knot in place and we're just going to pop this into the slots at the side. So you can see we've got little slots at each side. We're just going to hold that out of the way using those slots. Then we're going to pick up our next longer length and find that middle again, and we're going to do exactly the same. It's going to be a little bit tougher this time because we haven't kind of got that little bit where it can nip in the top, just to keep it in place, but we do want to try and make sure this stays central. So we're going to make that D shape. We're going to bring this side over the top of the one that we just made the D shape with, and we're going to come under the cross and up through the loop. And that is my dog barking. It's just the postman. Then we're going to make the backwards D shape, bringing this one over the top, under the cross, up through the loop, and again pull that nice and tight. And then we're going to take those ends out and pop them in each end again. And now we're going to add our last one. So exactly the same again. I do this one a little bit quicker, level them up at the ends, find the middle, take that middle piece underneath and start creating our first knot with this strand. So we've got our D shape over the top of this, under that cross, up through the loop. Just because it's not going to grab, I'm going to just pop my finger there just so that I know I'm staying pretty central. That's one half of my square knot. My backwards D shape, this thread is coming over the top, under the cross, up through the loop. There we go. We now have 3 square knots. Just give them a little push up together. And there we go, we've got 3 square knots. Just pop your threads into the side so you know where everything is, nice and neat. So all your threads are here and here. And we've got the start of our triple macrame bracelet. Now we're always going to be working with the top strand, bringing it over to the underneath now. So we're going to take these top 2 strands, one at each side, and we're going to just do a square knot exactly the same, but it's going to sit underneath these 2 and reach sort of round that area. So again, we're just going to go simple square knot, making that D shape, tail under the cross, come over the top of that thread, remember, up through the loop, and that's half a square knot. And I'm going to make the opposite side over the top of the thread we just took across, under the cross and up through the loop. And then we're going to pop those ones in the sides again. And we're going to do this 3 times. So with all 3 strands. So we've already done one, and we're going to do another one. So creating that square knot underneath the ones we've just done. pulling it up through that loop and adding to the sides. Don't worry that this angle is becoming more. We're going to move everything up in a minute anyway. We just want to make sure we get those 3 done. So that is basically giving us 6 square knots at the top, because we did 3 singles and then 3 more singles, but these are over the top of the other ones. So we know that we started with 6 knots. So we know now when we get to the end, we finish with 6 knots. So there we go. Now what we want to do is move these up. So we're just going to move everything up as far up as they can go. Obviously when we get kind of down here, we don't want to be moving them too far up. They want to be about level or just above. So we're going to bring these ones across at this side. Just make sure, you see there, they've crossed over. Just make sure that they are staying in line. Just keep a check on things. And then we're ready to start adding our first bead. And then all we do is exactly the same. We're just going to pop the bead up. Now this time we're coming using the top one, always using the top one, top threads, and coming all the way down past all those knots and also past the bead. So we've made that D shape over the top, under the cross, and up through the loop and pull. And this time we've encapsulated that bead again with the opposite side across, this one over the top of that thread that we just took across, under the cross, and that's your next square knot. Now you will have a distinct difference. You'll know when you need to add your next bead, because there'll be no more threads above the bead. So we're going back up to the top again. We're going to use these top ones around, under the cross, and each one of these is going to encapsulate that bead and create that beautiful, it's almost like a herringbone effect. It's really beautiful as a triple macrame. So this one is next. And make that next square knot. There we go. So now what we need to do is, when we get to this point, we move all our cords up again. So they are about level. You don't want to be distorting, don't pull them as tight as I did then. So we want this to sit nicely level again, so we've got a nice place to work from. And then we push our bead up and we start at the top 2 threads and then work our way down to the bottom ones. So 3 square knots using each thread at a time in between each of our beads. And I want you to do that until you've added all your beads. And then remember, when we began, we did 6 square knots. I want you to do 6 more. So that's the bit where you'll have got a bit more relaxed, because you know your 3s each time. So just make sure you really do count those 6 square knots at the end, and I'll meet you back where we're nearly finished. So I've continued working down, doing 1, 2, 3 square knots with each of the corresponding strands, 1, 2, 3, working from the top each time in between each of the beads, and I'm finishing off with 6 square knots. So continuing working through each one at a time, back to the top one each time. If you're confused of how many you've done there, if you pop your fingernail right in underneath that bead, you should be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little bumps on that side. That is the part we call the bridge. So what we need to do now is finish this off. Now, like I said, I won't be doing the sliding clasp, because that is in a separate tutorial, because I'm doing lots of these videos and I don't want to keep repeating myself doing the clasp over and over again, because it is the same clasp each time. but I'm going to show you how to finish this off. So you can take this off the board. Don't panic, it's not going to unravel. Don't trim any of the lazy strand. So these ones that come from the center, they stay nice and long. Leave them exactly as they are. It's these ones at the side that we're worried about. Now, if you haven't got a thread zapper, you can trim these nice and short and then maybe coat them maybe with some jewellery making glue or some E6000, something like that, that's a little bit pliable, because you've got to remember this is going to move, so you want kind of a more of a gel based glue, and then you would have to leave those to dry completely. Okay, so I'm going to finish them off with my thread zapper one by one. I'm just going to do one or two to show you, and then I'll finish them off separately. So I'm going to take these. Don't worry that these lengths are so long. We use these when we're making our clasp anyway. So I'm going to cut this quite short, just a few millimeters left. And then I'm going to come back to my thread zapper. I could have cut my thread zapper as well, to be quite honest. I'm just going to work on this single one. So I'm just going to let this heat up. See that little bit of smoke coming from it? And I'm just going to melt this down. Just one at a time, and then just squish it into the side. There we go. That's one done. Just making sure you do not cut that central lazy strand, and then you're going to work on the next one. So working on one at a time works best. So taking it nice and short, just so you've got that little kind of stub left, and then just taking, just melting that a little bit and then squishing it up. There we go, that one's done, and it just kind of finishes it off nicely. Just be very careful, because obviously if you do press against it, it will go through the whole thing. So I'm just going to finish all those off. You can see how nice and neat those are finished there, and then it will just come back and take a quick look at the finished bracelet part of this project. So all those ends are finished really nicely. Because we're using a nylon based cord, they melt really nicely. Just obviously if you are using something that's cotton and such, I probably recommend the gluing technique. So you can see this has made an absolutely beautiful bracelet. It's going to sit exactly like this one here. If I pop that next to it, you can see that that's exactly the same. And now all we need to do is make that sliding clasp. Now the video is available separately, and I will also tag it down in the description at the underneath this video. All the sizes, the lengths, etc. are underneath the video also, so you can check those out there. Any conversions, just in case I'd miss them, because I'm actually from the UK and sometimes I do miss the different sort of metric US conversions into things, so I do apologize if I have. Don't forget to check out the very end of this video. All the components that I've used in this video have been taken from a Relax and Craft subscription box, and I've just popped a little description in there if you want to check it out just at the end of the video. So take care, and I will see you again soon. Don't forget, we need to make that clasp, so check out the other video. See you soon. Bye. So if you wanted to know where I got all the ingredients for today's tutorial, I got them from the Relax and Craft box, which is made by a company called Rocks and Chains, which is run by the amazing Fleur Hastings. She creates these boxes every month. This was April 2023 box. Every month you get something different. You get a different medium, you usually get a tool, you get lots of gemstones and amazing creative inspiration as well, because you are joined into a Facebook group and you have a members area of her website where there is lots of inspiration and lots of designs that have been made with this box, and to inspire you to create even more. So every month you get your box. You also get, because of the relax part, crafting is relaxed anyway, you get a cup of tea and usually some sort of treat, a chocolate, but unfortunately I opened the box and I saw it and I ate it. I apologise. So I did get a lovely chocolate as well. So in this month's box, not this month that we're in now, the April 2023 box, We got the cord, so lots and lots of amazing 0.8mm cord. We got a whole strand of beautiful garnet. I can't tell you how beautiful that is. You'll see it in another video. You've got amazing silver obsidian, so that one's 4mm, this one's 6mm. You've got the beautiful strawberry quartz, which you've just seen me using in this video here. And you also got lots of spacer beads, and we've got all three of the colour tones. So we've got silver plated, gold plated and rose gold plated spacer beads. But you also got, as your tool, you got the board. So you got the macrame board in this box as well, which I think is absolutely amazing value. So if it's something you want to have a look at for the future, you won't get this box, but you will get some a different box. Each box each month is absolutely amazing. You're not committed into it, but you can subscribe at rocksandchains.com. So I just thought you'd like to know where those ingredients came from, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video, which is this one here. This one will be coming up shortly. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free to subscribe. Click that bell and you will get all my videos. And I hope to see you again really soon, especially if you've made this and you want to make that sliding clasp. I'll see you soon. Bye.